Afternoon there, ladies and germs. Fun little project going on. So some of you have already seen the shorts video that I made about putting the C6 exhaust system in my C5 Corvette. Well, one of the things that it takes to do that is you have to remove the C5 Corvette bowling ball cubby that goes down in here. That's not really what this video is about. This video is about installing the TrackSpec Motorsports hatch floor or trunk floor kit. There's probably a half a dozen ways you could go about filling in this hole, but I felt it was easiest to just buy the TrackSpec kit. Gives you a nice panel to put in here that is removable. But that being said, their kit is intended to be used on a race car. So on a race car, you're not going to be quite as detail oriented in trying to seal this up. This is a street car, and so I need to keep it somewhat weatherproof and critter proof and bug and spider proof. I'm not going to show obviously how I cut the cubby out, but I will put in some still pictures of the pieces that I removed, I guess. I just used an angle grinder with some thin cut-off wheels and cut out the basic outline that I wanted. But outside of that, one of the things that you have to do to put in this TrackSpec kit is you need to fill in the low spots so that you create a completely flat floor for that thing to bolt onto. There's no instructions with this kit that I've seen. You're going to be kind of on your own. That's one of the reasons why I'm making this video, is to show you how I did it. So I found that the height difference from here to here is 1.25 inches. Same with these little troughs in the body tub right here. This is 1.25 inches. So what I did was I went down and I bought some thin wall. I ended up getting steel because it's what they had. You could use aluminum, but this is pretty light. It's not like it's super heavy. And so basically what I've made is this filler piece that I put steel riv nuts in, and it is getting bolted to the bulkhead, this bulkhead right here. So that's going to sit like that. And then I've got a couple of washers that I put in here because this bulkhead is not vertical to the car. It's tipped back a little bit. So I put a couple of washers in here so that when this is sucked up to the bulkhead, it doesn't really kick it back too much. So the way I did that is I drilled some holes through the bulkhead, 4 of them, and it can obviously be accessed through the bumper cover. So this is the piece of Home Depot steel that I used to make the floor leveling kit. I always recommend you never buy steel at Home Depot or any box store for that matter. It is a complete rip-off. I bought a 4-foot stick of that steel and it was $50 at Home Depot. But I need to get this car back on the road. I made these cute little filler pieces out of that same steel. I'm not going to attach these to the car with a fastener. What I'm literally going to do is I'm just going to glue these in here into the floor with seam sealer. And then after I get this bolted back to the car, I'm going to perimeter seal this whole tube and these pieces with seam sealer. That will leave me with a completely flat floor. And then when I go to bolt the floor in, which I'll show that separately, it's going to get lined with old-fashioned camper tape. Another advantage to doing this kit and what it's actually designed for, the kit's not designed for doing C6 exhaust. That's just what I'm using it for. But what the kit is designed for is rapid removal of your drivetrain. Because without that cubby in here, your transmission and differential and torque tube, they just come right out. No monkeying around. So one of the other things that you have to redo when you cut the cubby out is the parking brake cables and the fuel vent have to be re-secured to the car because they used to be bolted to the cubby. So I made some brackets here and riv nutted them to the frame, and then use the factory clamps and have it all bolt together, both sides. So that turned out pretty good. I'm going to get this bolted back in, get the seam sealer done, and then we'll revisit bolting the floor in and my final thoughts on the project. Well, it's the next morning, well, almost afternoon. Anyways, before I turned in last night, I made sure to get the seam sealer project done. So I did get it done, and now you can see that it's really taken shape. So this is our floor spacer to bring our floor up to level. It's almost like we're doing a construction job, building a deck or something. You can see I got these filler pieces put in there and here. So I literally just bedded those in seam sealer and then smeared it around the edges and called her good. All of our steel inserts are in, and so we are ready to put this floor panel in. So these two inserts right here also have to be put in. They come in the bag of hardware with the kit. So if you see those two holes and you're wondering what they're for, it's to attach the filler piece in that goes across the front. As you can see, I got our camper tape laid down and all the holes punched. I conveniently used a beloved 357 Magnum case. If you don't have one of those, well, you're on your own. Try and make nice holes. So, like I said before, if you're working on a race car, you may not even want to seal this up at all because you don't care how loud or what gets inside the car. It's not a big deal. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get that floor in place because I got to tuck it underneath these rear interior panels. It's kind of a tight fit, and I don't want to tear the foam up. We're going to make it happen. The other thing I wanted to mention is after you get all your riv nuts installed or located, do yourself a favor and take a unibit and upsize every single one of these holes one size. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room, because when you drill all your holes and put in your steel riv nuts, they move around a little bit on you. There's just no way around that. So you'd have a better chance of winning the Powerball and being able to get all your screws in on the standard holes as delivered. All right, that's enough rambling. Let's put this thing together so we can drive this damn thing. This is the longest this car has ever sat since I've owned it, which isn't super long. Some people don't drive their Corvettes at all. I think this car has been sitting since the middle of October. All right, let's see if we can do this without tearing everything up. That's a bright light. It's good for you guys, horrible for me. There we go. Nice. It's going. Boy, that camper tape is really gripping the floor. But I'm happy with that. Now we can start planting screws. Hopefully that seals up. There might be a tiny gap here and there. We'll maybe climb underneath the car and have a look-see, but I'm not too terribly worried about it. I can't say this with absolute certainty. I don't know exactly why TrackSpec made this piece, two pieces across the front here, but I got to put more camper tape right here to fill in this gap so that this seals up, because you can see daylight right here down to the floor. So let me camper tape that real quick, and then we'll put the screws in. So I ended up double layering the camper tape right here, each side, and then we've got this filler piece in here that goes over the top. Sorry, I had you out of view there for a second. This filler piece goes over the top and sandwiches these two pieces of camper tape. Now we're ready to put in all of our screws and torque them down gently. We're not going to gorilla torque them. They're just there to hold the panel in place and squish the foam a little bit. So this is the screws that it comes with, and it also comes with a bunch of lock washers. I'm also going to put down some small flat washers just to take up some space. Not worried about this panel coming loose. I didn't mention it earlier, but I am going to put sound deadener on this panel. If you don't put sound deadener on this panel, it is going to sound like a bass drum going down the road. I'm confident once all the screws are in and tightened down that this should be strong enough you could stand on it. It's a little squishy right now without screws in it, but I know once it's torqued up, it's going to be just fine. I'm probably going to wind up covering up the cute little TrackSpec logo with sound deadener, but that's okay. I'm going back in with carpet in this car, so there is that. Can definitely tell I got the camper tape in there because it makes these screws be on a little bit on the short side when the tape's not squished down yet. Man, I need my nut driver handle. I don't even think you guys can see what I'm doing right now. So I'm doing lock washer, flat washer. Don't tighten down any screws until you get every single screw put in place, or you're gonna regret it. A lot of you dudes that build race cars already know this, so I'm just preaching to the choir, I guess. Even then, I may still end up fighting some of these. I came up a couple of screws short across the back because I added a couple of holes, but that's all right. Now we're just gonna run these down. Should be plenty tight. So a lot of these stainless looking screws are really soft. So the 3 screws across the front, I ended up taking the washers off because they're on the short side. I can almost guarantee you that these screws will be garbage the next time I take them out, but that's okay. Well, that's no good. So I accidentally cross-threaded that one in a bout of transparency, and it spun the insert, so I'm gonna have to go underneath the car and hold that insert to fix it. That sucks a little bit. So let me get that done, and then we'll close this video up. Okay, that was a pretty quick fix. I was able to get the panel back out of there. Unfortunately, I had to upsize this insert to an 8mm from a 6mm. Not the end of the world. I'm going to have one different bolt in the whole panel, but that's the way life goes sometimes. Don't get in a hurry and don't do dumb stuff, and that wouldn't have happened. But we'll move on from it. Fasteners tightened down just fine. I got my one oddball 8mm Ford bolt right there. You always gotta have a Ford bolt in your Chevrolet. But yeah, next I'm gonna put some sound deadener on this so we can get rid of that subwoofer sound. And outside of that, I'm pretty happy with it. So let's get the sound deadener put down, and we'll start putting the interior back in it. Alrighty there, guys. I was going to kind of show what it was gonna take to put the factory interior back in here and modify it for the flat floor, but after driving this thing for the afternoon, I quickly realized that I'm gonna have to change the mufflers a little sooner than I was hoping for. But that's another video and another topic outside of this one. So where I'm going with that is to do the mufflers the way that I want to. I'm going to take this floor back apart. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to put the interior back in this thing just to tear it right back out again. So I'm going to leave this video where it's at. Hopefully it helps anybody that's been pondering cutting out that cubby for whatever reason you may need. But I just wanted to show, like I said in the beginning, how I put this in and how I put all the fasteners in and how I blocked off all the openings. Very, very happy with the going with the kit instead of fabricating my own stuff. The only thing I'm going to do, at least when I take this out next time, is I'm going to buy some 6mm shallow headed bolts and replace all these soft Allen screws. But that's all I got for this one. Stay tuned for the next one. There's going to be a bunch more coming. Got a lot of stuff to do in 2026, so hang on for that stuff, and we'll see y'all on the next one.